Hello student. In last two videos I have explained the methods and how to define a different ways of a method. How to define a method. So this is the third type in which we will explain defining a method with return type and parameter list. Define a method with return type and parameter list, and same question we will deal. That question is write a program to input a number and display its factorial. Okay. So first of all, take import statement, class factorial, method to display factorial of a number, void display. We will create scanner object. We will enter a number and that number is stored in n. Okay. That number is stored in n. Suppose n equal to 5. We have entered n equal to 5. Now, in this line, what is happening here? See, we called a function find factorial. We called a function find factorial in which we pass a variable n. We pass a variable n. Therefore, variable n store of 5. Therefore, we are going to calculate factorial of 5 by using the function find factorial. We are going to find the factorial of 5, and this function will calculate the factorial of 5 and return back to f, and this variable f will store the factorial of 5 and we will print factorial of n equal to f. Therefore, we will display the factorial of 5. But when we pass the value n in the function find factorial, what is happening here? The control of the program search function find factorial in the class, in this class. Okay, so find factorial, here it is. Okay, here it is, find factorial int x. The variable n, the value stored in n is transferred to x. Therefore, the value of x is 5. See, here the return type of function is integer. It means this function calculate an integer value. The result of this function is an integer value. Okay, that's why the return type of this function is defined as integer. In this function, what is happening? We are calculating factorial of a number. That number is stored in x. Therefore, we are calculating factorial of x. So, we need to run a loop from 1 to x. We are calculating factorial in this way, and after calculating the factor outside the loop, we return the variable fact. See what is happening here. See, value of I is first 1, I less than equal to x. Therefore, 1 less than equal to 5, condition is true. Condition is true. This condition is true. Inside the loop, fact equal to fact into 1, and the initial value of fact is 1. Therefore, fact equal to fact into 1. Fact will store 1 into 1 equal to 1. Because the value of I is 1, value of fact is 1. So 1 into 1 equal to 1. Again, I plus plus, value of I is 2. 2 less than equal to 5, condition is true. Again, condition is true. Again, control gets entered inside the loop. Inside the loop, fact equal to fact into I. Fact is storing 1 and the value of I is 2. Therefore, 1 into 2 equal to 2. The new value of fact is 2. Again, I plus plus 3. Then condition 3 less than equal to 5, it is true. Condition is again true. Again the control gets entered inside the loop. Again fact equal to fact into I will execute. That is, the value of fact is now 2 and the I is 3. The 2 into 3 is 6. Again I plus plus, it is 4. 4 less than equal to 5, condition is true. Condition is true. Again this statement will execute fact equal to fact into I. The value of fact is 6 and the value of I is 4. 6 into 4 is 24. Again I plus plus, it is 5. 5 less than equal to 5, condition is true. Condition is true. Therefore again this line will execute fact equal to fact into I. The current value of fact is 24 and the value of I is now 5. 5 into 24 is 120. Again I plus plus will execute, this is 6. 6 less than equal to 5, condition is false. condition is false. Therefore, the loop will terminate. Loop will terminate and control moves out of the loop. And outside the loop, there is return fact. In fact, is storing 120. Therefore, this function accept a value in variable x and calculate its factorial and return back to the called function. Therefore, this statement, return statement, return the value of fact to here, and the value of fact, that is 120, will store in variable f. Therefore, the value of f equal to 120, and we are printing here 120. So this way, this is the process to use a function with return type and with parameter list. This is the way to use a function with return type and with parameter list. Okay. Now, one more program. This is the first program of class 10. Okay. And the question is, write a program to input a number and check whether it is a prime number or not. You note down it. Write a program to input a number and check whether it is a prime number or not. Okay. So first of all, import space java.util.scanner class prime method to display whether a number is prime or not. Void display scanner scr equal to new scanner system dot in. We will input a number, system dot out dot println, enter a number, int n equal to scr dot next int. If check prime n equal to true. System dot out dot println, it is a prime number, else system dot out dot println, it is not a prime number. In this part of the program, we entered a number and that number is stored in variable n. We called a function check prime. This function check prime will accept a number n and check whether the n is a prime or not. If n is a prime, this function will return true. If n is a prime number, if n will store a prime number, this function will return true value. True. So, true, this part is true. If suppose we entered n equal to 5, so since n is a prime number, therefore this function will check n and return a value true. True equal to true, therefore entire expression is true, therefore it will print it is a prime number. It is a prime number. Then we have to write the program for this function. Since this function returns a boolean value, therefore the return type of this function is boolean. Method to check a prime number. Boolean check prime int x. Okay, return type of the function is boolean because this function checks a number and return true or false. If number is a prime, it will return true. If number is false, number is not prime, it will return false. Therefore, since this function returns true or false, so its return type will be boolean. The value we passed through n will stored in a variable x. And we know the logic of checking a prime number is we count its numbers of factors. If number of factor of a number is 2, therefore that number is considered as prime number. Okay, so let's count its factors. Int I c equal to 0. For I equal to 1, I less than equal to x, and I plus plus. If x mod I equals to 0, c plus plus. We have counted. Now if c equal to 2 means if its counts is equal to 2 means the number have only 2 factor, this function will return true, else return false. Here we close the function and here we close the class. This is the solution of a question. Write a program to input a number and check whether it is a prime number or not. Okay, copy it. I am explaining once again. First of all, we will enter a number and that number is stored in variable n. We call a function check prime and we will pass a value n. The function check prime accept the value n and check whether the value stored in a variable n is a prime or not. How this function will check? So this come here. Okay, as soon as this part will be encountered, the control moves here. The value stored in n is stored in transfer in x. Therefore, if n equal to 5, therefore x equal to also 5. Suppose we take value 5 that is stored in n, and we passed in n, and that n is stored in x. Therefore, the value of x is also 5. Now we have to check whether x is a prime number or not. So for that we have to count the factors of x. So for this, I equal to, I am explaining here, I equal to 1, I less than equal to x, therefore 1 less than equal to 5, condition is true. Condition is true, then control moves inside the loop. Inside the loop, if x mod I equals to 0, the value of x is 5 and the value of I is 1. The value of x is value of x is 5 and value of x is 1. Therefore, this condition is true. If this condition will true, then this line C++ will execute and the initial value of C is 0. If this line will execute, the value of C will increased by 1. Therefore, the new value of C is 1. Again, I++, value of I is 2, 2 less than equals to 5, condition is true. Again, inside the loop, x mod I equals to true. This time value of x is 5 and I is 2. So, this part is false because 2 will not divide 5. So, okay. So, this condition is now false. Therefore, C++ will not execute. Again, I++, I equal to 3, 3 less than equal to 5, condition is true. Again, x mod I equals to 0. The value of x is 5, I is 3. So, 3 will not divide 5. So, this part is again false. C++ will not execute. Again, I++ I equal to 4, 4 less than equal to 5, this is true. Again inside the loop x mod I equals to 0, the value of x is 5 and the value of I is 4, and 4 will not divide x, that is 5. So this condition is again false. C++ will not execute this time also. Again I++ value of I is 5, value of I is 5, 5 less than equals to 5 condition is true. Again inside the loop x mod I equals to 0, this time the value of x is 5 and value of I is also 5, therefore 5 will divide 5, so this condition is true. Therefore C++ will execute, the value of C is 1, if it will execute, therefore the value of C is increased by 1, therefore the new value of I is 2. Again I equal to 6 and 6 less than equal to 5, it is false, condition is false. Therefore loop will terminate and the control moves outside the loop, outside the loop, and outside the loop here if C equals to 2. See, C equals to 2. The new value of C is now 2. C equals to 2. Therefore this condition is true. Now it will return true. So this function will accept a number in x and calculate its number of factors. If its number of factors is 2, this function will return a true value. True value. So from here it returns a true. Therefore the output of this part is true. So true equals to true. Therefore entire expression is true. So it will print it is a prime number, and we know that 5 is a prime number. So this way we will solve the program. I will send some more questions in your WhatsApp group. So you guys try to solve. Okay. Thank you.